All right, let's jump right into it. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating animated parable from the Radhaswami Satsang Bias, and it's called The King Who Moved His Beard. Now, on the surface, this might just sound like your classic folktale, thieves and royalty, the usual stuff. But as we break down the structure of this story together, you're going to see that it actually carries a remarkably deep philosophical message.
I mean, just think about that title for a second. Can a simple twitch of a beard actually save a person from the gallows? It sounds completely absurd, right? But I want you to lean in and picture this. A pitch-dark night, a secret rendezvous, and a promise that is just as bizarre as it is suspenseful. This question isn't just some quirky little detail. It is literally the absolute crux of the story we're exploring in today's explainer.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, The Royal Disguise.
So our source material kicks off with a classic storytelling trope that honestly never gets old. We've got a wise king who slips out of his grand palace under the cover of darkness. Why? Because he wants to learn about the true, unfiltered condition of his subjects. Well, while he's wandering around, he literally stumbles upon a group of 5 very rough-looking men. And when they ask him who he is, the king doesn't flash his crown or anything. Instead, he reads the room, realizes they're a gang of thieves, and boldly claims, "I too am a thief." And you know what? The gang is absolutely thrilled and immediately invites him to join them for a heist they're planning that very night.
Moving on to Part 2, The Thieves' Unique Skills.
Now, this gang is surprisingly structured. Before they pull off their robbery, they decide they need to elect a leader. And to figure out who gets the top spot, everyone has to declare their special ability. And let me tell you, these skills are highly specific, like almost magical. The first thief, he's an expert at fixing rope ladders absolutely anywhere on his first try. The second can just swiftly and silently break right through solid walls. The third guy has a supernatural sense of smell, but specifically for hidden treasure. The fourth thief can actually understand the language of animals. And the fifth, well, he has the uncanny ability to recognize any person he has ever met, even in pitch-black darkness. I mean, talk about a dream team for a heist, right?
So, this part brilliantly illustrates the sheer genius of the king's character. When it's his turn to declare his skill, he has to think on his feet. So what does he say? The king claims his unique skill is that with just a simple little movement of his beard, he can save even the worst of thieves from the gallows. It is such a stunning bit of irony. He's literally just describing his royal pardoning power, but he's disguised it as a thief's trick. And the gang? They are completely mesmerized by this. It's the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. So without a moment's hesitation, they elect this mysterious new guy as their leader.
Which brings us to Part 3, The Palace Heist.
All right, so the crew decides on a target, and boldly enough, it's the king's very own palace. Obviously, the king feels compelled to tag along so he doesn't blow his cover. But as they sneak up to the palace grounds, a dog starts barking its head off. The thieves turn to their fourth member, the animal translator, right? He listens to the dog and tells the group, the dog is hinting that one of us fellows is a king. I mean, talk about dramatic irony. So do the thieves panic? Absolutely not. They completely dismiss this massive warning with a huge, hearty laugh. And the craziest part? The king just joins right in and laughs along with them.
And then their skills just combine in an absolute masterclass of execution. At 10 p.m., that rope ladder goes up flawlessly over the outer wall. By 11 p.m., the wall breaker breaches the palace, dead silent. Midnight hits, and the treasure sniffer leads them directly through the royal halls straight to the loot. By 1 a.m., they're bundling up the king's own treasure literally right under his nose. They sneak out the exact same way they came in, divide the treasure equally outside the walls, and scatter into the night. An absolutely flawless, 100% successful robbery.
And now, Part 4, The Timeless Gesture. So morning breaks and the king is back on his throne. He immediately sends his royal guards out to arrest the 5 thieves. Just imagine the absolute shock of these guys. The poor fellows are rounded up, shackled, and immediately marched toward the gallows to be executed. But wait, remember the 5th thief? The guy whose special skill was recognizing literally anyone he'd ever met, even in the dark? Well, standing right there before the throne in broad daylight, his skill kicks in. He looks up at the king and boom, he recognizes him. He steps forward and makes this really desperate, dramatic plea. He says, "Oh, my king, I can recognize you now in the light of day, for you were with our group last night." And then he drops the crucial ask. "Have pity on us, O gracious sovereign. Please move your beard and save our worthless lives." And he promises, swearing on behalf of the whole group, that they'll never steal again. Instead, they vow to faithfully enter the king's service for the rest of their lives.
And here is the climax of our literal narrative. The king, looking down at these terrified men, actually takes pity on them. He nods his head. It's a timeless gesture of mercy, and true to his word from the night before, that simple nod causes his beard to move. Right away, the guards remove the shackles. The 5 men, rejoicing and incredibly grateful, gladly abandon their life of crime to enter the royal service.
Now what's really interesting about this next bit, Part 5, Decoding the Allegory.
Let's map out exactly what this parable is really communicating here, because parables use highly relatable characters to represent some pretty profound spiritual truths. In this case, the disguised king represents God, or enlightened saints. The 5 thieves? Well, they represent humanity, the sinners or rogues who are, as the source describes it, drowning in the phenomena of this world. And that incredible royal pardon, the twitch of the beard, that directly represents divine grace and ultimate salvation.
So, the core lesson here is that much like the king, God sends guides, beloved sons or saints to help those who are totally lost on the wrong path. We as humanity are often just so busy with our own heists, you know? We're so distracted, drowning in the everyday phenomena of the world that we don't even realize that divine is walking right beside us. And honestly, perhaps the most touching lesson here is that saints will resort to all kinds of means to reach us. They will meet us exactly where we are, even putting on disguises just to save us and bring us into a higher service.
Which leaves us with this final, really powerful question to reflect on. Are you recognizing the disguised guidance and grace hidden in your own life? Because just like the thieves who laughed off the dog's warning, are we missing the huge hints right in front of us? I really hope this explainer gave you a clear, structured understanding of this beautiful parable and its deeper meaning. Keep looking for those hidden moments of grace out there, and I will catch you in the next explainer.